Welcome back to the Boomerang Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Drew.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about the escalation in the Middle East, what it means, and just kind of a big picture on things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So give us some background, Drew.
I mean, just to get started, you have Israel preparing for the ground attack in Gaza Strip. Reports are coming out that Hamas is killing, Palestinians and, a lot of children that are trying to escape from the Gaza Strip before Israel, pounds it to the sand. You had the international players starting to pick sides between Russia and China, kind of condemning Israel, taking over Gaza Strip, and really, how that's building out for the rest of the world. And times like this, people are considering, hey, this could be the start of World War III. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, hear your thoughts, of course, throw out some speculation, and we're just following the news like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this initial attack was really designed to provoke a much more escalated attack from Israel. Right, because what was in place? There's peace deals made, right? We had prior peace deals made, the Abraham Accords, made under Trump, and these countries, they won an escalation war in order to break those treaties. We know that Saudi Arabia's, what was his name, Bin Salman. He's been a good guy. He worked with Trump, right? He's probably behind getting a lot of those peace deals done. And the flip side of that is you got to remember is in these countries you have different factions, right? So Saudi Arabia, you had al-Walid, right? Al-Walid was actually a guy, it's a very interesting history here. He was actually a guy who, to my understanding, funded Obama's, he's a completely anti-Israel, right? Wants Israel wiped off the map. This is the guy who funded Obama's college.
Wow.
He actually put Obama through college and made allies with Obama when Obama was a kid, growing up as a Muslim in Indonesia. He sought out Obama, and they created the perfect Manchurian candidate. Bin Salman is the other faction in Saudi Arabia that wants to bring Saudi Arabia to more like the United States. Right. He's the same
Peace,
mind.
Prosperous.
You can actually see the meetings with him and Trump from Trump's presidency. Trump comes up behind him, pats him on the back. So you can tell that they're working together. But what the deep state, I think, is trying to do is they're trying to undermine any peace, right? And bring war escalation because it's really their only way out of this, right? Trump has the deep state on its back. That's the way it seems to me. So what are they going to do? They're going to escalate war with Israel, right? And we'll probably see a lot of attacks on Israel coming from all different sides, right? Lebanon and right.
Exactly. Hezbollah,
Hezbollah.
If they're trying to get into this war, it seems like they are. I know Israel has taken out a few of their camps. They've also hit airports so that you can't bring, Iranian supplies in and things like that. But I think it's about to get pretty nasty with a lot of these countries jumping in and pretty scary, And I mean, even to our own borders, I think there's a coalition of Republicans that came out and said, hey, we're not going to accept refugees from the Gaza Strip. Why would we bring potential terrorist cells in?
But how do you even know?
And well, the scary thing is, we talked about the border in the last episode, but just now reading like, hey, they're getting, Iranians and Palestinians, and they're catching them at our border, and if they've caught one or two, that means there's 100, 1,000 that have made it past, without being caught. So I think there's just a escalated, threat level here within the U.S. with everything going on, and you have these super liberal institutions like Harvard, right? That are pro-Palestinian, it seems like, surely, and a lot of the brightest minds in the world coming from those organizations. And, kind of like Bill Ackman said, I'd like to get a list of everybody who signed that stuff because let's make sure we never accidentally hire them in any of our corporate businesses. But, just even over the weekend in New York City, they had a rave, pro-Hamas.
Did you see that footage?
It's just like, it's unbelievable.
Pulling the dead Israeli tank. Guy out of the tank.
Yeah, it's just like, man, people support that. It's just.
Well, it's interesting because it's like, my fear is, and we're in Arizona, so my fear is that
it's getting crowded here too.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing terrorist attack on U.S. soils, and for anybody who doesn't think that there hasn't been some, just look at the Las Vegas shooting. To my understanding, al-Walid, the same guy I was just talking about, he was behind the shootings in Las Vegas.
Really,
he's the one who orchestrated those. So if you don't think that terrorist attacks could happen here on U.S. soil, you are sorely mistaken.
Right.
And I think we are going to see some.
Yeah, and I mean, in my opinion, it's this has been planned, right? The Biden administration, his whole crime family, they've been taking, bribes from our enemies. They've been loosening, and hurting our border. You make it more porous, it just in a million different ways. It's so anti-America. It's really sickening to watch this unfold.
I'd love to know what senator, right? We've been talking about Backdoor and Gold Bar Bob.
Yeah, Gold Bar Bob.
Right? We've been talking about him. He was taking bribes from Egypt.
Yep.
What other senators? Are they taking, bribes from Qatar? Are they taking bribes from who? Hamas?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just throwing a number out there, but realistically, it wouldn't surprise me if 30% of our elected officials, one way or another, are selling us out.
Probably a low number.
On the bribe, taking money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably on the low end. Republicans do. Trust me, like that uniparty, it is true. So it's really interesting to see these things kind of unfold in real time, and it's really sad too. Just the lack of the care for life.
Well, we know that the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated Washington D.C. through Obama's administration.
Correct.
Who was it? Not Loretta Lynch, but she's probably one too. But it's a couple people. I forget her name, but there's a bunch of people in Obama's administration that were. Huma Abedin, she's Muslim Brotherhood, right?
Yep.
And she's got all the dirt on Hillary, so I'd love to see if she's making deals at some point. We'll see.
And I will just add real quick too is that when you see this kind of these things happen in the world, what I see here in the U.S. is a lot of people, they get out of their investments, they get into cash, right? And then as this escalates, they take that cash and they put it in even safer assets like gold, land, ammo, right? Storable food. So, just watching the economy and how things are, going about, I would just say, prepare yourself, make sure you're not all in the banks, all in the market. For a short period of time, cash will be king. Then things like gold and silver are going to be extremely valuable, and things like oil, right? So you're going to start seeing these type of commodities go up, especially in a time of war.
So this is why it's really important to have commodities, right? And think of commodities just tangibles, right? It's having your money in something physical, right? Gold and silver are monetary assets, right? Oil's energy, right?
Yep.
Has use, has purpose.
Exactly.
Right? People would be better off in, soybeans and corn than they would keeping their money in a bank, right?
Correct. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well, that wraps us up for today's episode of the Boomerang Podcast. We appreciate the support. Like Matt mentioned earlier, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave us a comment. We love to touch on anything you guys are interested in. And we'll see you on the next episode.